Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. On a winter day, I hope I'm audible. Hello. Can we quickly get some highs and hello on the chat so that we could be aware that we are live? Yeah, hello. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session on Police Hackathon. We are here to help you out with the queries and resolve all your technical solutions that you have got. So, with me, I have Athav. He's a developer advocate at Hack2skill. Hello, hi Athav, how are you doing?
Hi everyone. Hi Kaushik. Doing great.
Hello.
I hope everyone is going fine as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, yes, let's begin then, Athav, without wasting much of time. Um,
Sure.
we are here to take them through the entire police hackathon experience, how it is, and what would be required. I hope the audio is clear to everyone. Yeah, okay, it seems well. So, Police Hackathon is an initiative of Karnataka State Police, along with the technology partners Microsoft and Triple IT Bangalore. And we are looking forward to a 30 hours offline hackathon on January 21st and 22nd, for which the top teams would be selected. Um, Athav, I see it seems there's an eco issue coming in. So, could we just look into some different place? Yeah. Meanwhile, we'll just quickly take everyone through what the entire initiative is all about. I'll just share my screen. Yes, definitely. Chetan will be taking each and every questions, be it the brief about crowdsourcing of records or what we should make for each of the ideas statements. The main motive of today's agenda is that we cover up all the topics related to the entire hackathon flow so that we are pretty much aware of how the hackathon flows about and help you get the best solution out of your projects. So that's what the entire motive is. I'll just quickly share my screen. Yeah. Please feel free to raise your questions as and when required. We'll be answering each and every question before the session ends and help you go through it particularly. I hope the screen is visible. Yes, let's just try this layout. Okay. So the Karnataka State Police Hackathon had begun back in December. And the entire motive around is to make sure the security, the awareness is concrete in terms of how the problems are being solved, coming up with the best solutions to help the police solve problems, the modern day problems. Today, the problems faced by law enforcement is not something which could be handled by physical or a technical or I'd say logical means, but it is something which requires a technical aptitudeness, which requires knowledge about how infrastructures work, knowledge about how security works. So that is what we'd be going through and understanding so that as and when on 8th of January, as the registrations close and submissions freeze, the teams have come up with their best solutions so that the final teams, the best teams for each of the five problem statements present in the 30 hours hackathon take us through the best of the solutions that we have. And as such, we thought of conducting a session wherein we can answer all your queries and help you take you through all the problem statements that we have. So without wasting much of time, let's just jump into the first problem statement, which is the unified data verification problem statement that we have got. Meanwhile, we'll just ask Athar. Athar, are you are you audible now? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm audible.
Okay, so Athav, if you could just take the participants through unified data verification of how actually what is meant, and then we can simply add on to what unified data verification is, what is the probable solution that they can build upon, so that they would be better able to understand what is expected of them from the in the presentation that they submit.
Oh, well, yeah, sure. So, like stated on the website, that is unified data verification. The problem statement basically we guys are looking for over here is specific to the police departments. And as we all know that police have various departments all through their different scenarios they deal with daily basis. So just so as to deal with a lot of data, there might be a lot of problems they must be facing on the day-to-day basis, and to have something on a unified way in a unified way would be a great thing for them, so as they can use it in the day-to-day basis. So the project, like the problem statement states that different department of the police faces the challenge of distributed isolated data sets, due to which they are unable to obtain a unified view of organization's data. So we have to work on building a solution that is like singly and unifiedly interfaced all together, says that that includes a lot of various departments of police, and it also helps in facilitating easy access to any citizen's data on a single report, and that would make the work of police quite easy, and that is what the problem statement is all about.
Yeah, so as Athav was mentioning, the entire motive about unified data verification and why this problem came up, the reason being there are a lot of isolated data sets out there in the entire enforcement divisions. There are certain records which are placed at different, and since the ages that India had achieved independence and even before that, there are physical records that have been maintained. And I hope everyone being from a technical background understands like how difficult it is to manage a decentralized database, or how difficult it is to manage a non-relatable database or a non-RDBMS database when you do not have any relations or any keys to identify or link the data sets. So as such, the problem statement over here expects the participants to come up with solutions which could unify the data verification. So you could have different clusters of databases which you can propose in different departments which could be uploaded and then synced upon through different any set of keys could be out there which you utilize to unify all of this data together. And that is what the problem statement looks forward to, and will obviously after going through each of the problem statement, we'll go through the entire idea submission process of how to create and submit your best idea so that you all are aware of how what actually should be present in your idea so that your chances of selection for the hackathon in the offline stage are maximized. So the motive today for us is that we understand what is the problem statement, we understand what is expected of the problem statement, what our ideal solutions should be, and then at the end, how do we present the problem statement to the police department so that our chances for selection increases manyfold and we are selected for the final day of the hackathon, that is a 30 hours hackathon in Bangalore. Okay, we'll be taking each and every questions which are coming up in the chat section at the later end of the session once we have gone through all the problem statements. Moving on to the next problem statement, which is solution for crowdsourcing of records. Atharv, again, if you could take us through what actually is expected of it.
Oh, well, sure. So, like on the day-to-day basis, we guys are very well connected with platforms. And if you will just like take a look on the problem statement, that is solution for crowdsourcing of records. To make it more simplified or like put it in a more simple way, we see there exist a lot of social media platforms, and getting a lot of data on the day-to-day basis and making it available on all sort of portals is kind of tough. And so as to have that all together on an open source portal, the whole idea of this problem statement shows up, which is a solution for crowdsourcing of records. And basically the problem also lies upon the fact that there should be a solution like which will have all the details, be it the phone numbers, be it the emails as inputs. And then after, if like someone wants to access the open source portal for it, they can access through that email, or either it could be the phone number. And they can see a lot of other things that would be available on the open source portal, that would be your different social media platforms. And that is what the problem statement talks about.
Okay, just to add to it, the wonder of crowdsourcing. I hope everyone, since is a developer, would have some way or the other had come across Upworks or platforms like Fiverr. So all these are just a pure example of crowdsource, how people just put up certain requirements or tasks to be done, and anyone who you are not aware of actually belongs to a crowd and comes together upfront to you and help solve your problem. This is what the motive behind is. The entire enforcement department relies on the information, how information is passed on, how the hunch is being passed out from one person to another, how clues are being passed on. And if you could have a platform wherein people could just come up and contribute the information that they have related to some incident, related to some activities, which the police department is also looking forward to. This is what is being expected of this problem statement over here. Athav, if you feel like if any point is being missed out, you could just definitely add directly to it.
Sure, but this very well defines what the problem statement was. We should start off with AI face detection. That is our third problem statement.
Yeah,
So,
by the way, sorry to interrupt. This is
yeah.
where we have seen a lot of submissions coming up lately. Like while the team was going through the submissions that we have received lately, we have seen a lot of enthusiasts coming up with AI face detection. So we'd like to understand, like, how is it that AI face detection has been the standout problem statement from all the others? So, Athav, if you could just throw some light on it.
Yeah, well, so as the problem statement states that although like it kind of very well lying along the other two problem statements, that is the one which was the crowdsourcing, and another one was which was unified data. And while we have talked about about the social media platforms, but on the day-to-day basis, as we also see a lot of crimes happening around, and just so as to see like who was the criminal, or just to be sure about if like some person is missing. And that is where a lot of AI face detection shows up as a great wonder for the whole idea of like identifying a missing person. And that is what the problem statement. I feel that is why I feel everyone is kind of curious. Everyone loves watching a lot of detective shows, and hence AI face detection. So I would
Yeah, definitely, definitely
yeah,
true.
I would
But
yeah, go ahead.
what I'd say is that no matter how lucrative the problem statement looks like, it is always pretty crucial to understand that AI face detection is something which is pretty difficult to achieve. Like even the likes of Apple have not been able to perfect it yet. So we'll have to be pretty sure how our AI face detection, the data set that we are utilizing to train our models to understand the different demarcations or different features of a face and understanding and pinpointing certain missing figures. And then not only that, that is just a part of it, like the training the model and understanding what the facial recognition says. The next part is also finding and allocating all the resources which are available publicly, scanning through all the publicly available data points throughout the internet. So these are the few crucial points we'd suggest, like to have a peek into while you jump into this creating solution for AI face detection, because it is not all about just about the point till you train your model and build a face detection model, but it is also way more beyond how you will be sourcing your facial, I'd say, images or assets through which you will run the cross check, through which you will run the models, right? You will be have requiring certain one reference image and you'd be requiring certain other. So how do you look into those social media platforms? How do you get to determine, okay, this is the person? Even the algorithm requires, like, okay, if some person is missing from XYZ area, this is the radius or this is the encapsulation area in which the people who have uploaded certain activities or videos you need to look into or search into. So this is one thing which I thought, like, let's just put it up before we jump more into the next problem statement. So anything to add from your side that I wanted?
Well, so like Kaushik said, we have been getting a lot of AI face detection problem statements and idea submissions around it. I would like hype up the other problem statements as well, because they are pretty cool problem statements like bank account analysis and fraud app detection. Well, so let's jump on to the other problem statement, that is the bank account analysis. And like, just to create a hype about it, I'm pretty sure everyone over here like might have came across a series that was called as Jamtara, which was around bank fraud, bank frauds thing. And there were a lot of incidences that were covered about that Netflix series, where they were showing how easy it is to get fraud, like get through the money laundering thing, and you live your life easily. But just so as to catch those money laundering people and analyze how things work on the core level, that is where the problem statement lies upon, and that is where we thought it could be framed as a bank account analysis problem statement. And hence this problem statement goes like, to make it easier for the police to trace the illegal origin of money and undo the complexities that has been created in series of bank transfer. So a KSP is kind of looking for a solution that kind of facilitates efficient analysis of bank accounts, and which also like shows that how many bank accounts or like links which have been connected with the current bank account. Let's suppose if you have some bank account, and that bank account has been went through some fraud. So that is where the problem statement goes around, that you have to track those kind of things which have been happening. And let's see if you guys can create any nice idea submissions around it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, just to add to it, while Athav has pretty much explained it, it's all about how efficiently you can analyze the bank records which are available. Obviously, for now, while you are preparing your idea solutions, all you can do is that preempt how the data set would look like. Um, you would not be able to find how actually the data sets are stored and how you would analyze it. But you can train the models, you can understand how to detect certain anomalies. The major objective over here is to detect the anomalies in the transactions that would be occurring if at all there is a fraud, or also getting to have an entire trail checked out of the transactions that have been happening. So there are two key takeaways from here in bank account analysis, one being understanding and detecting the anomalies in the transactions, and the other being trail checking the trail of the transactions. So say for instance, one trail of transactions has been going on for multiple bank accounts. That is where you need to raise the suspicion. So you need to understand and build a algorithm which understands and detects anomalies in the entire process. Moving on next, we'll quickly cover up all the problem statement, the final problem statement, and once that is done, we'll answer all the queries, as well as apart from that, we'll be taking the entire developers through the process of how to create your best solution and what is it expected for a ideal submission to have, and how you can make sure that your chances of selection for the offline hackathon are increased. So to the final problem statement, which is fraud app detection. Yeah, Athar, if you could take us through quickly.
Yeah, sure. Well, so I would say the fraud app detection problem statement very well defines the time when we were in pandemic and there were a lot of fraud apps that have been circulated all through the Play Store. And I would say that was the time when fraud apps have started taking more and more place in our day-to-day life. And that is also the time where a lot of betting apps came into the picture, and hence KSP is looking for a solution that facilitates such fraudulent apps on the Play Store. And even before like those apps came into the picture or like came into the existence, so that we can like protect the citizens of our country from falling prey to such apps. And that would be definitely the problem statement. If I would have been a candidate who was kind of participating in this hackathon, I would have been so much interested in going with this problem statement. What do you say, Kaushik? Which, if I would have asked you to choose out of five problem statements, what problem statement would have you be going with?
So, if I had to make a submission, I'd go with the one which I'm best aware of. I won't say what I'm best aware of right now, because obviously I need to go through the problem statements and understand. But yeah, I'll go with in which I've got the best idea and I'm able to explain what the idea is all about. Okay, moving on next, we'll just quickly take you through the entire idea submissions. And then once that is done, we'll answer all the queries which are there in the chat section. So yeah, I hope everyone has gone through the dashboard journey, knows what the dashboard is, because most of them have already made the submissions. But just as a guideline and understanding of what an ideal submission should look like, we'll just take you through what actually should be there in each slide and how it be getting the best statements for each slide, which explains how we can answer the queries that are required out of there. So yeah, just let me take you through it. Yeah, the first one be brief about the idea. So as you move on, first of all, what you need to do is that once you have finalized the problem statement in which you are working upon. So say for example, I'm working on, let's say, bank account analysis for now. Though I won't be working on, just to clarify, it's not any intensive thing to but let's say I'm working on bank account analysis, and I need to create a idea, and I've got an idea. Let's say my idea has some algorithm which would be working and helping me detect the anomalies in the transaction. So how do I do? First of all, I'll try to explain the idea. Now there are two or three odd ways which generally people do utilize in explaining the idea. First, come up with the existing solutions which are already out there in that problem statement. If the problem statement has certain solutions out there, just explain what the current solution is. And then at the very next moment, explain your idea how it is different. So say for instance, let's take some example of bank account analysis, and there are certain three-tiered level of clearances in which there are algorithms which check or detect for anomalies in transaction over a period of time, and you have come up with an idea like it will receive an accuracy of 84%, but the algorithm that you have built achieves an accuracy of more than 95%. So try to explain the key highlight points of your idea. So if I am to say, I'd speak something like, my model detects anomalies in transaction with an accuracy of more than 95%. That gets the evaluator highlighted or incited. Like, this is what the problem state, the solution is looking good so far. Now, we can say anything, right? We can say that, okay, the moment there's a transaction, my software will be able to detect, and just that person would be in jail the very next moment. The police would be there. But you can speak up of any ideas, right? But you need to back it off. So to back it off, you need to understand what are the opportunities that your idea is creating. And by opportunities, when I speak, you need to understand how it is different from the existing solutions out there in the market. And you need to also justify that the existing solutions that are in the market should have already got a viable business model. And how does your idea will compete against it when there is an already existing model out there? Then how will it be able to solve the problem? Is it directly addressing the problem that the problem statement wants to clarify? Or is it something which is being addressed indirectly? At times, there are certain very good ideas, but they are solving the problem indirectly, which also works definitely, because as long as you have a solution which is actually able to solve the problem out there directly or indirectly, it is completely fine with it. Then, as we were mentioning, we can come up with any sort of ideas. All we need to do is that back it up with a certain sort of solution. Like, this is how we'll achieve it. So you need to add a feature list. And the best way to do it, as per our experience of multiple hackathons that we have gone, we need to present certain visual representations. Visual representations could be flowcharts, visual representations could be your process flow diagrams, visual representations could be your use case diagrams. These are some things which we all as a engineers had avoided in our college days. I'd say the UML classes, the modeling language classes that we used to have in second year or third year. I do not precisely remember right now, but this is where you need to put up how your the process flow would be, how your algorithm will work. That concretes and puts a value to your idea. Like, this is how actually it will work, and that will also give a sense of, I'd say, confidence into the mind of the evaluator that this submission will be able to work and do justice to what their idea is. The next thing, obviously, if anything is out there in the market, needs to have a business sustainability. And by business sustainability, we do not mean that it should make revenue. What we mean is that if there is at all any chance that it could sustain itself on its own, you cannot continuously pump in certain, because when we are talking about facial recognition technologies, when we are talking about anomaly detection, when we are talking about training models, the first and foremost problem that we usually face is that large amount of server costs incurred with it. So we need to have optimized solution out there. We need to also understand how we can reduce once the software scales, because at the time of prototyping, any software works wonders, but the moment we get into a scalability scenario, we face the problem of scalability as the charges keep on increasing at an exponential level. And then the most important slide, which needs to be present, that is the technology used. So technology used is something which every team needs to specify in their idea submission. And also, just a brief, like an example to everyone. If you have submitted the idea, you can change the idea as many times as you wish to until the deadline achieves, that is 8th of January midnight. Until then, you can tweak your ideas as many times you want. So technology is used again emphasizes on how tech is being utilized in your project, whether it is a full stack solution, whether it is just a model that you have trained, on which technologies you have trained it, like whether you are using Python as your language, whether you are using Rust as your language, whether you are using any other programming language, or let's say also what kind of deployments you are utilizing, what kind of servers you are running on, what kind of proxy. So as detailed as it could be, the better it would be. And the best thing is that you address the problem of the scalability as well. The moment an evaluator sees that a problem submission made by a participant is scalable as well, that's adds on to the bonus point over there. And again, the estimated cost or implementing the solution, if you have certain ideas of running a prototype, if you have ever deployed certain projects on AWS, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure, you'd be aware of how projects are deployed. What are the costing scenarios? You might be using instances to deploy a project. You might be using app engines to deploy a project. You might be using CosmoDB as a database for the entire project. So these are the things which you need to put up over here. And I'd say you are fine to go ahead and proceed to the next round. The most important perspective over here is that out of all of these, the first and foremost thing that you need to keep in mind is that your problem statement idea that you have got to solve that problem statement must be concrete, and on top of it the features that you're offering should be backed by technical acumen. Remember, do not put anything something like I'd send a satellite to the near orbit and then we'll scan each and every person's identity and we can detect whether missing person is. So that though definitely someday someone will do that, but if you are confident enough, we are welcoming you. Just it's just that you need to have a proper backing up of that as well. Athar, of all this, if you have got anything you can add, if you want to add, please do add. Otherwise, we will jump on straight away to the questions and answers which are out there. And I do see a lot of comments in the comment section, and we'll be having a tough time answering all of them. Athav, it seems you're not audible.
I was just saying, let's just jump onto the questions. I see a lot of questions out there in the comment section, so let's just answer them one by one.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just take up the questions. Uh, yeah, can we do the PPT in Canva? Definitely. So, as stated, the defined template is just to make all of you understand that this is what your problem, the submission should at least have the minimum that should be present in your idea submission is what has been presented over here. You can come up with presentations created in Canva. You can even create, if you are a designer, you can create it in XD. We are fine as long as we are getting the answers to the questions that are present in each slide, like what is the brief about your idea, what are the features that you have got, as and if you have put up certain logic diagrams, if you have put up certain ER diagrams, if you have put up UML diagrams, we are fine with it anywhere whatsoever, wherever it is built to it. Yeah, are single member teams allowed? Will travel expense? Can professionals participate? Okay, I'll answer one by one. That's a clever way of putting multiple questions at the same place. So yeah, as per the criteria, single member teams are not allowed. Unfortunately, you need to have a minimum of two members to compete and submit the idea. Until and unless you have two members, you'll not be able to even submit the idea. Coming up to the second point, travel expenses. So currently, the shortlisted teams, which would be shortlisted, would be intimidated on 11th of January, 10 days before. The travel expenses are currently not covered. The stay and the entire 30 days duration, that would be taken care of, but the travel expenses are currently not covered. Yeah, what I'd say as an add-on to it is that if if you have made it to the shortlist, definitely you have got something in you. So it's worth taking the travel expenses upon you. Then can professionals participate? Yeah, definitely it is open to everyone. Then whosoever is a developer, or is like an enthusiast or is a innovator and has got a team can participate. Anyone can participate in the hackathon. It is open for everyone. Do we have to make the entire project or just a prototype? Atha, would you like to take this?
Well, I would just say, as of for the idea submission, just prepare a nice PPT, and then if you guys got shortlisted for the further round, you would be having to create a project. That would be it. And I also see a question by Shivam Gupta that says, "Do we need to put actual cost in rupees?" So, Kaushik, please go ahead, answer this.
Definitely, definitely. So to add on to the previous question first, for me, projects and prototypes, it's all the same. If we are in college, a prototype and a project are the same thing. If we are a developer or a working professional, for us, it makes a whole lot of a difference. During the 30 hours of hackathon, participants would be expected to come up with a working prototype, which you can define as a project as well. Yeah, and then again, the cost. As long as it's in something which is a valid currency, we are fine. As long as the evaluators can find out the actual cost in terms of dollar or in terms of rupees, we are completely fine with any sort of expenses. Can we have the next question, please? Yeah. What type of real world data can we expect for unified data verification? Okay, so when we talk about unified data verification, as stated, the objective is that there would be different isolated data sets across different departments. The objective is to unify them through different means. And since these data are not uniform, you will have to train your, I'd say the best way to do is that find the common keys or parameters, I'd say, which through which you can link your data sets. So it's totally a real world scenario wherein you will have to find out which parameter could be a key for a different data set. Yeah, can we have the next one, please? Yeah, so how many teams per problem statement will be selected? Do your best. That's what I'd like to answer right now. There would be a total of 30 to 50 teams selected for the 30 hours hackathon. So I'd say you'd have already done the maths in your mind, like how much, if we calculate the total of 30 teams or total of 50 teams, how many teams per problem statement would be selected. So you can have your maths. Um, what other thing I'd like to say is that as long as you're confident enough, as long as you are aware that you have built the best solution, you should not worry about selection. You should worry about will you be present in the finale pitching on day two of the offline hackathon. That is what I'd say. Be confident enough if you have got your solution right, if you have submitted the solution well enough, the idea submission is well enough. Just be confident and prepare for pitching in the finale. Next, please. Yeah. Who will be responsible for selecting the final teams for the offline hackathon? So a panel of mentors, industry mentors, as well as experts are evaluating and would be selecting the best top teams, which would be selected for the offline hackathon. I hope that answers. Can you clarify regarding social media integration for AI face recognition? Yeah, this is the question we have been receiving a lot. So when we talk about AI face recognition, as mentioned, any sort of data which is publicly available on the internet and does not require any kind of web scraping will be accepted to figure out which form of data you are looking into. Remember, any kind of data which is publicly available. Do not try to exploit certain firewalls or try to find out loopholes or use scripts which are not legal. Just go through the legal ways of determining and going through uh, data sets to search for your targeted phrase. What are the unique ideas you guys want in face recognition domain? Like there are already many solutions. Okay. So if we would be answering this, I'd say why not? me or Athav participate in the hackathon and submit our own ideas. Right, Athav? Does that not sound cool for us?
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
So, sorry, Tribhuvan Mishra, will not be able to help you with it. Like, what are the unique ideas which we are expecting in the face recognition? Yeah, can we move on to the next question, please? Yeah. Why fraud app detection as a problem statement when we already have Google's Play Protect? Is it related to app side more or is it related to people doing financial transactions, etc.? So to clarify this, Google's Play Protect has a different set of regulations. It goes through all the utilities of the which are present in the application. But as you roll on the application, what actually is being held over there, what is the authenticity of the application out there. You could have a pretty verified application, but the moment you work with certain nefarious activities, let's say for example you are diverting, I'd say cash, you are diverting actual money in terms of betting, in terms of gambling. That is what is something which needs to be detected because there are certain rules and regulations that need to be followed. I do see like there are multiple people who are forming teams over here in the chat right now. So yeah, that's good to see. Uh, yeah, can we move on to the next question, please? Exactly, without providing data sets, they are asking to mention accuracy against the prevalent solutions present in the market. Okay, so the data sets should be provided to you. Since these are pretty tightly knit and placed data sets, that is why the data sets are not made available to the participants during this stage of the hackathon. The moment the teams are shortlisted, they would be provided with the data sets for them to work upon the models and work along with the algorithms to identify the keys and understand how the different parameters are working. So do not worry, all the data sets which are relevant to each of the problem statement would be provided once the shortlisted teams are announced and would be provided to them. Can we move on to the next, please? Yeah, is the aim of the face detection problem statement to build the model or to build an interface? Like, should we aim to build the model from scratch? I'd say as a developer, like building from scratch is hardly an option most of the times. So it's best that if you could source already built projects, if you could. I'm not saying that you clone repositories which are like well protected under open source license or which have hard stringent rules. Be sure you utilize the code bases you build on top of frameworks. There are a lot of already trained models if you go through them. There are a lot of frameworks available on the internet if you go through them, which are available for public use. You could utilize them. Yeah, can we move next? Athav, do you have a problem statement on your screen right now?
Well, I can see someone has written that someone is not able to find a team. So I would rather suggest that you guys maybe can form teams over here in the comment section as well, because a lot of people have been doing that. Or you have an option to join Discord and explore somebody else who has not yet created team, and maybe you can join them. Okay, that's the question.
Okay. What type of data will be provided and in which format? So, data could be in any format. As a developer, we should not worry about it. It could be CSV, it could be JSON, as and when, depending upon the problem statements that are present here and how the actual data is present in those departments, we'll be able to provide you. Obviously, the data would be either in the three formats, the universally accepted JSON, CSV, or the XML format. Okay, can we proceed next? Yeah. I have a question regarding data available to us in bank account analysis. Do we have access to data of multiple banks? Yes, regarding the bank account analysis, as stated previously as well, the data sets should be provided once the shortlist teams are announced, and those teams would be having the access to the data sets so that they could run or train their models, search for analytics, and do other kind of operations which will help them build the best prototype. Anything to add from you, Atul, on any of the points?
No, it sounds great.
Okay, sure. Can we include the methods slash techniques that are not allowed to perform or unethical as of now in our idea submission, as the projects will be more precise if we use them in it? Oh, okay. This sounds interesting. Um, Anurag Roy, to answer your question, for now, we strictly prohibit against using any unethical means. Just create ideas or submissions on the basis of the ethical or legal means through which you can present your idea submissions. That is what we'd like to state right now. And once the shortlist teams are announced, further set of instructions would be provided as to how the data sets would be conveyed to you, which form of data would be there. Shall we move on to next question, please? Yeah. What if I have no idea about the cost of implementation? Because in my case, cost is dependent on. So even if I give an estimate, chances are it may be completely wrong. Okay. So to answer your question, Manu, um, you do not need to be precise in cost of implementation because no one until and unless a project scales is aware of how actually the server cost would be coming up. You do not know how steeply you will have to scale up, which are the engines that you would have to pump up, which are the services that you have to pump up. But it would be highly appreciable if you could just come up with solutions, like the estimates of the cost for the initial prototype stage. That is just the prototype that you're deploying. What are the services that you'd be requiring so that the evaluators have an idea of which services you'd be eyeing to and what are the costs incurred over there. Okay. Shall we move on next? Yeah. My problem statement is near to the problem statement, but not exactly the problem statement for AI detection. To be
I saw
honest,
a
it
lot of
seems,
problem statements
yeah,
like that.
yeah, it seems like a riddle to me, to be honest. Um, Okay, a problem statement for AI face detection. So, insane YT, I'd say to answer your question. Um, if you are solving the problem that we have got at the disposal, then it works. If it is not able to solve the problem that is out there, then unfortunately it will not work. Can we move on to the next question? Yeah. Is it possible for us to access the real world entities for the project because it will have confidential data of people? Can we do like that, or is it offensive in view of competition? So we could obviously utilize the real world entities as stated earlier as well. Since this is the ideation now, please focus on how well the idea or the proof of concept for your project is out there. Once we get into the shortlisting stage and once we are into the finale stage, we'll be clarifying on instructions on how to proceed with the prototypes, on how to solve the problems that you have come up with. Is it the aim to actually find missing person or just geographically predict whether they might be? So whatever is helpful to answer that, definitely to determining actually where the missing person is uh, currently stationed is near to impossible because while you would be running the data sets, while you would be running through your models, those data would be predated. That is, you might look into social media posts or publicly available posts which are like a day prior to it. So you never know where. So the ideal case would be you would be predicting geographically where the person might be. Yeah. Shall we move on to the next question? Yeah. What sort of data we could use in AI face recognition if we aren't able to use web scraping? Okay. So there are multiple means wherein you can go through it and understand how to utilize or run your data through different parameters. There are a lot of publicly available APIs from different platforms. If you go through the developer profiles, you will be able to have access to a lot of publicly available APIs through which you can get direct access. And those are the actually the legal way of how you could solve this problem. And the best way you would be able to solve the problem, even in a faster way, because web scraping is never a fast and optimized medium. You need to open, you need to run a script, ultimately a URL page opens up and then you run the script. While if you are able to get access to the APIs which are available publicly, it will run as fast as it runs on the actual platform. So I hope this helps your. Can you explain the problem statement one again? I can join late. Okay, okay. Athav, can you do the needful, please?
Yeah, sure. So the first problem statement goes like unified data verification. So basically, it talks about how there can be a lot of challenges that are faced by a police department, which revolves around isolated data sets. And because of that, they are not able to obtain a unified view of their organization's data. So what could be a possible idea submission around this could be building a single unified interface that connects the various departments of police, and where police can easily access any citizen's data, and that would be the whole gist of it. I hope that answers your question, whoever asks this. It's the first and last page of the PPT for has to see. Kaushik, please answer this
Yeah,
question.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So, yeah, as I mentioned, as long as you are answering the questions which are expected in the problem statement, we are fine with any format that you are using. Just that your idea PPT should be able to explain what your idea is, what are the features you are having, what are the opportunities which your project or proof of concept has, and business logic as well as the cost estimate and the technical technologies used. I hope that answers. Well, we'll be taking a couple more and then we'll be ending because, uh, yeah. For crowdsourcing ones, is it okay if we build an app only in Web3? Yeah, definitely, definitely. You can for crowdsourcing, you can come up with any sort of solution, even in Web2, even in Web3. Yeah, Web3 lies with the directly with the decentralized uh, application procedure. So yeah, you would be completely fine with it. In bank analysis, how can we connect through the data of various banks? In crypto, everything is public. In blockchain bank, logs of restricted access rights. Okay, okay. So once the teams are shortlisted, the teams will be provided with data sets with transactional logs from the banks, which are available to the information department so that they could detect anomalies in the transaction. I hope that helps answer your query. Yeah. Just a last, I'd say, and then we can wrap it up. Do we have any more questions, or shall we just wrap it up? We are only given an image of the missing person and no other information initially lighting. Yes, definitely. Yes. No other information apart from the image of the missing person. Yeah. Obviously, there would be certain set of details available, like the name of the person. Of only once a complaint is filed against a missing person, a report has been filed, the initiation would begin. So you'd be having details like name, age, the basic details which are available. Yeah. Just can we have we do see. Yes, the last question. Can we submit more than one idea? If yes, then how? What we have to do in 30 hours if our idea will be selected? Okay. So to answer your first question, for every email ID or every user account that you have got on Hack2skill, you'd be only be able to submit one idea. Again, you can register from a different email ID, but remember, do not form a team with both of your email IDs. Please do remember. ultimately will end up having the same person in a team. So you should have a team member and then submit the idea differently. What do we have to do in the 30 hours? In 30 hours, we'll have a lot of snacks, lot of food, fun activities, lot of enjoyment, gossips, and obviously coding has to be there, development has to be there. So yes, definitely we'll be building the prototypes and we'll be helping you out over there as well. So I hope that answers. For crowdsourcing, how can we collect data for the user input of mail or number because it's not available in public domain? So for crowdsourcing, it's all about creating a project or a prototype, a platform which helps people crowdsource data. So people would come up, register onto your platform, and this is what is being envisioned right now, and they can come up and contribute to the data. Surveillance cameras as a source of face verification? Yes, definitely. Since you are working on a problem statement for Karnataka State Police, you would be having the access to the surveillance cameras as well. Yes. Um, I hope we have answered all the queries. If at all there are certain queries which have not yet been answered or missed out by us, please feel free to ask your queries on the Discord channel. Athav is there. I myself am there. The entire team is there. You could just reach out to them. If you haven't registered, do register now. If you haven't formed a team, do form the teams and submit your ideas before 8th of January. The registrations and submissions are closing 8th of January midnight. That is 8th of January, 11:59 p.m. in the night. Do remember to form your teams, submit best of your ideas. The recording of this video would be available for everyone to have access to, and you can access the same on the dashboard. It would be available in the resources section of the dashboard. If you have any queries, if you have not been able to find a teammate right now, you can join the WhatsApp group and then some request other members who are looking forward to form a team, join there and make your submissions. These are the few tips I'd say. Lastly, just work on the ideas before you have got a very long weekend, I'd say. Saturday, Sunday coming up. Uh, just complete your idea, make the submission, and if you have got the best of your ideas, you'll be selected definitely. And we'll meet soon in the 30 hours hackathon once the shortlists are announced. Apart from that, just make sure that you have an original idea. That is pretty important. Do not directly, blatantly copy from already existing projects. That is one thing that we need to keep in mind. Apart from that, do follow us on different channels and join the Discord for any sort of communication. In case of any queries, just directly raise it. The support team would be able to answer you out there. You can find our contact numbers on the home page of the hackathon, wherein you have all got all the details. Team Hack2skill will be dropping in all the mobile numbers right now onto the chat. So thank you everyone. Thanks a lot. Athav, if you have got anything, the final words.
I would end it on a note that I'm pretty much excited to see a lot of idea submissions moving in, and stay tuned for the coming thing. Bye bye everyone.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone, and see ya. All the best to everyone.